Kling 3.0 is the latest AI video generation model from Kling, and it's very popular right now. It lets you create videos from 3 to 15 seconds in duration. You can output at 720p or 1080p. It does text to video, where you just give it a description, or image to video, and it supports both start and end frames. Built-in audio, including sound effects and speech if you want characters talking in the video. Multi-shot video, which gives you different camera angles and shots within the same generated video. And subject binding, which is just a technical way of saying keep my character consistent throughout this video, even if they turn to the side or in a different direction. So let's take it for a spin, see where everything is, how it works, and what it produces, and I'll show you some things that I've been experimenting with along the way. I'm logged into Kling. Over on this left menu, I'll click the Generate button. Up at the top, there's 4 tabs here. By default, it drops us on video generation. If for some reason you're not there, just make sure you get there. Just below that's the model drop down. If we click on that, we want to make sure that we're on video 3.0. If you just want to do text to video and you don't have a starting image, you can come right down here into the prompt box and describe what you want your video to be. That's fine if you're not real picky and just want to let the model do its thing, but I am kind of picky. So we're going to add a start frame. If you click this button, you can select your image from your file explorer, or if you want to grab something you already have in Kling, click this history button. In the window that pops up, you can select from creatives. Those are things you've created on Kling, or uploads. If you've already uploaded something to Kling previously, you don't have to upload it again. You can just grab it here from this uploads history. Rather than clicking and searching, we're just going to drag and drop an image right here in this panel. And now that sets this image of this dog sitting at a bar as our start frame for the video. This is what the very first frame of the video will look like, and it'll go from there. If we wanted to add an end frame, meaning the very last frame of the video where it gets to in the end, we could do that right here in this add an end frame box, the same way we did with the start frame. Next, we have this option to bind elements to enhance consistency. We're going to skip that for now. We'll come back to it. Next, in this prompt box, we'll describe what we want to happen in the video. It gives us this tip to use quotation marks. If we're going to have speaking or singing content, we would put whatever we want the character to say inside quotes. And it says it supports multiple languages, dialects, and accents. We're not going to do speaking in this one, but I'll click in the prompt box. We're going to say the dog looks at the bartender, barks a single bark. The bartender mixes a drink for the dog and puts it on the bar in front of the dog. We've got the option down here to make this a multi-shot, or turn that off and just make it a single shot. So a single shot would be the camera sort of stays fixed in that one spot. Multi-shot would start off with the camera where it is in this start frame, but then maybe we wanted to move and do a close-up on the bartender's hands or the mixing, or a close-up on the dog's face or something, and then move back to this position or something else. If we want specific shots, click this custom multi-shot button, and then break down each shot in order, how long you want the shot to be and what you want to happen in that shot. So in each one of these, we would describe where the camera is and then what's happening. And you can add additional shots or delete any shots that you don't want. For this one, I think we'll leave it on multi-shot, but we're going to click this cancel custom multi-shot and just let Kling figure out how to break this up into some shots. If this is something you want to use over again, you can hit this save button and save this prompt as a preset. Next to that, you've got inspiration and presets, and this is handy when you don't know the wording of these different camera shots or how to describe it. It gives you lots of examples and presets you can use there, along with some presets for lighting, the framing, like rich details or a simple background, and it gives you little pop-up examples of those, and the atmosphere as well. If you've saved any presets, they'll be up here in this My Presets tab. We'll leave those off for now. The last option there is using DeepSeek, the LLM, to help you write your prompt. We're going to skip that and come down to where it says 1080p. We'll click this drop down. This is where we choose whether we want 720p or 1080p, how long you want the video to be. You just drag this little slider anywhere from 3 to 15 seconds. Let's go ahead and do 10 seconds on this one. How many outputs you want it to generate, how many versions of this video, we'll leave that on 1. Then if we click out of there, you can toggle native audio on or off. We'll go ahead and leave that native audio on. Now each of these things, like native audio, if you're looking at how many credits this is going to charge, it's 90 credits if I have the audio on, it's 80 if I have it off. Also back here in the settings, the mode 720 or 1080, that'll change the price. The length will also change the number of credits as well as the number of outputs. With that all set, let's go ahead and click the generate button. Over here on the right is where all your generated stuff shows up, and it's gotten to work on this video. It says it's going to take about 5 minutes to generate this video. Sometimes for me that shows up as 5 minutes, sometimes it's 10 or 12 minutes. I guess it varies based on how busy the servers are. Our dog at the bar didn't take nearly 5 minutes to generate. Let's check it out, see how it turned out. Our dog did a double bark, not a single bark like we specified, but the bartender got the message. I like the little nod where he acknowledges that the dog wants a drink. Then when he's shaking the drink, I don't know what that weird fuzz is at the top of the shaker, some kind of dust hologram mist, I don't know. And when he slides the drink across the bar and it smoothly slides onto the napkin, that's not really how that works. But it did do a multi-shot first at about 3 or 4 seconds when it switches to the bartender making the drink, and it changed the shot again around 7 seconds when the bartender appears to be sprinkling something invisible into the drink before he puts it up on the bar. Now, a couple things that might improve this would be giving it more time to do what I asked it to do in this video, maybe stretch that out to 15 seconds. Maybe I was trying to get too much compressed in a short period of time. And it also might be worthwhile to be a little bit more descriptive about the bartender mixing the drink. If I put some details in there about what he's supposed to do, maybe we could avoid that weird hologram fuzz or mist or whatever it is. But a longer, more detailed prompt doesn't always produce a better result. For example, with this starting frame of an awkward elevator scene, I give it this really long prompt. I set this one on single shot, not multi-shot. And with all these details, here's what I got. The man holding the cactus, his facial expression gets really, really weird throughout that one. Not exactly what I was describing in my prompt. And this lady in the back corner, I don't know what's going on with her, but the whole thing, it's just too much. I use that same starting frame image with this much simpler prompt. Again, a single shot. Now this one I did at 720p, so it's not as high quality. But here's how it did with the simpler prompt. To me, it came out much better that way. And here's one I did with no prompt at all, just the starting frame image, and let it roll. And I did this one with the multi-shot set on auto. The native audio was kind of lame, but it did a pretty good job of figuring out what was happening in this scene and making it into a video. Now, evaluating just the physics, here's a video that I tried to create a while back with Kling 2.5. The guy's supposed to be running along the train, jumps up and grabs onto the ladder on one of the rail cars and climbs to the top. I tried this multiple times, and this is the best I could get. He's still not running the same direction as the train, which doesn't really make sense. And right when he makes the jump, things just get really weird. If you pay attention to where his hands grab and where his feet are, it just doesn't work. Kling 3.0 does better. At least the man and the train are going the same direction. But when he makes the jump and grabs onto the ladder and the shot changes, it's an entirely different ladder in an entirely different location than what was present a few frames ago in the previous shot. Let's try something different. I'm going to drag in an image for our start frame, and this is my character Ainsley, who's running through a hotel lobby. Now let's check out this bind element to enhance consistency. We'll click on that, and the only element I have is me. I certainly don't want her to look like me at any point in this video, so we'll create a new element. And the idea with this binding is we're going to give it some different images or a video of this character from different angles so that as it moves through the video, it has some reference of what she's supposed to look like from different angles. It wants either a front-facing image or a character video that's either 3 to 8 seconds. So let's click in here and we'll say add image, grab an image of our character, and we can add additional angles, 1 to 3 more. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Gonna go ahead and name this, and then we'll select the tag character since this is a character. We can assign a voice to this character. I'm gonna skip that for now. Then it wants us to describe key features, but keep it under 100 characters. Let's try auto and see what that does. Well, that looks like more than 100 characters, and I'm not sure why it's describing everything she's wearing in every outfit. Doesn't seem like that would be helpful. I'm going to go ahead and wipe the description of every single image out of there. I'm just going to describe what should stay consistent about her. So I'll say a 22-year-old woman with long wavy blonde hair, bright blue eyes, olive complexion, and a slender build. And let's go ahead and generate that element. And now we can select Ainsley as an element to bind to this subject. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll close out of this window. Now we can describe what we want to happen here. This time, let's do multi-shot, and let's do the custom multi-shot. For shot 1, we'll say the camera tracks the woman sprinting across the hotel lobby toward the exit. For the duration, let's make that a little shorter. Instead of 5 seconds, we'll make make it 3 seconds. For shot 2, we'll say wide shot from outside the hotel entrance. Camera zooms in slightly as the woman runs out to the sidewalk in a hurry. Let's change that one to, let's say 4 seconds. Then we'll add a shot. And for shot 3, let's say a handheld shot of the woman frantically trying to hail a taxi. Now that's 3, 4, 3, that's 10 seconds. And so our duration here in these settings will automatically go to 10 seconds. We'll leave it on 1080p, one output. We'll go ahead and leave the native audio in there and generate our custom multi-shot sequence with our binding character element thing. Let's see how it turned out. As far as the multi-shot goes, we did get 3 different shots here. We got her running through the lobby, then the camera moves outside like we asked it to. And the last shot, we have her flapping her hand and saying, "Shaw," whatever that means. I guess that's how she hails a cab. As far as the character binding, it seems to do okay with her as she's running through the lobby, but then when we switch to the second shot, it takes quite a while to even get her in view, and then when she does appear in the scene, her face is just all morphed up and weird. Her body type isn't consistent even within that shot. Lots of blur and morphing. Then in the last shot, it comes back to looking a little bit more like her. Again, maybe some tweaks to the prompt, maybe just a reroll, maybe using different images for the character binding could all have some effect on this. But some things like this morphing and blurring and this weird wonkiness, that shouldn't have anything to do with whether we're using multi-shot or binding or any of that. That's just a matter of creating a quality video. Here's one I created earlier with the custom multi-shot. We've got a detective looking at some surveillance footage, and he's supposed to print this image and then grab it off the printer. I was really curious to see how it would do with that printout, how well it would look like the screen, and I think it did a pretty good job. It did okay at getting the shots that I asked for, and now at the end there we see the detective talking, but we don't hear his words, and that's okay because I didn't say that he should be talking or what he should be saying, so I can't expect it to do that. Let's clear this out, and we'll try the binding again. This time I'll bring in an image of me walking down the street. We definitely need to change this binding, so we'll click here on this button, and we'll select Bob. Now it left Ainsley selected after I selected me, so maybe you can bind 2 characters in the same video. Not sure how well that would work. We're gonna just stick with 1. We'll do me, and then in the prompt, we're gonna be a little silly here. We're gonna say the man crosses the street and trips as he steps on the sidewalk, flailing his arms and trying not to fall. We'll turn multi-shot off for this one, and I'm not gonna direct it on what to do with the camera. We'll just let it do whatever it thinks it needs to do for that. We'll leave it at 1080p, 10-second duration, and 1 output. We'll leave the native audio on and click generate. All right, let's watch me trip and flail. Okay, it starts off with me walking. That looks okay. The text and the street signs is total mush. I'm not tripping on the sidewalk. Instead, I'm making some kind of hand gestures to some imaginary person. That's not altogether unusual, but my hand and fingers are melting and morphing there in the air. Then I seem to be confused. That's kind of normal too. My face sort of changes for a second, then I'm back to the head up, happy, confident posture, walking on. So no tripping, no flailing arms, a whole bunch of other weird stuff, and we're not even going to talk about this very oddly shaped person that AI Bob didn't notice passing behind him. Now let's do one with a little bit of speech. I'll drag and drop an image in here. We have this woman that's having a rough night. Let's go ahead and turn this binding off because I don't have a character for her, so we'll get rid of that. We're going to give it some camera direction here and say handheld camera, documentary style. The disheveled drunk woman looks at the camera and says, with slurred speech, "Don't judge me, you don't know me," and continues eating cereal out of the box while sitting on the floor. And I put the words that she was supposed to say here in the quotations. We're not going to do a multi-shot on this one. We'll just leave it on a single shot. I think we'll stick with 10 seconds at 1080p and generate. Let's see how she turned out.
Don't judge me. You don't know me.
Well, it basically did what we asked. It's got the handheld camera, the documentary style. She says the exact words that I told it to have her say, and then she resumes eating her cereal sitting on the floor. But it didn't do slurred speech, and it doesn't seem to have picked up on the drunk part. I guess Drunkenese just isn't one of the languages or dialects it has available. Then at the end, the sound effects are off, and we hear crunching while she has her mouth wide open, dropping Fruit Loops in. And by the way, no judgment on this gal. I'm not saying I've ever been in that situation, but Well, I've never worn a blue dress. Other than that, so earlier I generated a video from this starting image with speech.
You've got a full mag and you're crying about one guy? Quit hiding your pansy ass in the bushes and take him out.
I think this one did a good job with the speech and the script that I gave her to say. Whatever she's doing there on the keyboard with her left hand looks a little bit weird, but you know, a little zoom or something could fix that up. You can also create a video with dialogue, two people speaking in the same scene, which is what I did here.
Buy me a tropical smoothie if you win, Miss Jenkins.
If I hit big enough, I'm taking a trip to a tropical island and you're coming with me, cutie.
The dialogue was technically accurate for what I asked for. The disappearing teeth and fuzziness in the mouth is a little bit off-putting, and it didn't seem to understand the tone. He was supposed to be asking a question, not making a statement, and overall it just didn't feel very natural. It looked very staged. But again, a little tweaking to the prompt, or maybe just a re-roll, could produce an entirely different result. Now back to these tabs at the top. Kling 3.0 can also be used for image generation. I have not been impressed with it. I'll stick with Nano Banana Pro or Nano Banana 2. And there's also motion control, where you can use a driving performance from one video with an image of a character to have your character do the motion or action that's happening in the video. Exploring motion control with Kling 3.0 would be a whole video itself. If you want me to make that video, let me know in the comments. For this video, we've been exploring Kling 3.0 video on the Kling platform, but it's also available on all the third-party platforms like OpenArt, which is my favorite, FreePic, Higgsfield, 11 Labs, and Design. And unless you're just really into Kling and everything that it produces, I prefer to use these things on a platform like OpenArt, where you have access to Kling 3.0 and a bunch of other video generation models from Kling and other providers. So in a week or two, when the next best AI video generation model comes out and it's from a provider other than Kling, you don't have to go somewhere else. It'll pop up in OpenArt within a few days or so. My overall take on Kling 3.0 is that it's good. None of these AI models, whether it be for image, video, voice, or whatever, none of them are perfect. I'm kind of surprised that in Kling 3.0 we're still seeing this morphing, melting stuff happening, and the character binding feature doesn't seem to be awesome-tastic for me, but hey, maybe I'm just not holding my head right when I type the prompt. Hey, my name's Bob. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you found this video helpful, or at least entertaining, and I hope you'll come back and join me for another video.